Hi and welcome back to another video. Today we're back in beautiful Newfoundland, Canada. It's another cold, dreary, overcast day. It's been like this now for several weeks. We haven't seen the sun here in, seems like 3 or 4 weeks. Well, it's been that bad that if I think the sun came out, I think people would start calling 911 and see what that yellow ball is up in the sky. It'd probably report it as a UFO. It's been that long. Anyway, today I want to do another video on a vintage spincast reel. Today I have a Shimano cb100. This reel, trying to find some information about it. There's not a lot. Found a schematic for it, and I think it was made around 1980 or so, maybe 82, 83 at the most. There's not a lot of interest in Shimano spincast reels. I've had a couple. I've had a graphite one. It's black. It's called an FX1 or FX2, something like that. This has a lever on here for fight and drag. You can adjust your drag down here with a wheel, and you can also adjust it on the fly up here, which is pretty cool. It's a very smooth reel. I have it on a Daiwa D Turbo 6.5 foot medium action rod. This rod and this handle is not, they're both Daiwa, but there's parts that I've matched up. This is modern rod, this is an old handle. I've just put it on there and epoxied it on there because I keep these. If I find these for sale, like just this part, I'll usually buy them and buy a modern rod and put it on because I like these a lot better. These kind of grips, I think they're ideal for casting, especially in my area. This is only a trout pond. This is all we have, and pretty much all we have in Newfoundland is trout. We don't have any bass or crappie or nothing like that. It's all trout. So this reel, like I said, is from probably 1980. I think it's made in Japan. Looking at these on eBay for a long time. I bought one probably 4 or 5 months ago, maybe 6 months ago. And when I got it, it was completely trash. Gears were stripped out, and there's something broken inside, and I couldn't fix it. So I just sold a few parts from it, and I eventually found another one. These go for a nice bit of money, especially if they're in good condition. I mean, I've seen these on eBay go for, well, people are asking like some cases like $120, $130, which I think is crazy. But I got this one for a really good deal, and I got the box with it too. And the reason the seller sold it cheap is because you can see the paint bubbling up here. And in the description, it also said that the counterbalance was missing here. If you picture like a Penn saltwater reel, it has a little weighted knob here. And if you look at it carefully, you'd probably think that there's something missing. But there's I actually looked at a few more, and there's actually a hook keeper. So this is the way it's supposed to be. This is where you hook on. This is where you put your hook. And on some of the ones I've seen, some of the pictures, it actually says right here, hook keeper. And mine doesn't say it, so maybe it's a little bit older and they didn't put it on right away. Maybe it's a little bit newer, I'm not sure. But when I originally bought this reel, I thought this whole case was metal. This is all plastic. The foot here is metal. The cone is metal. Handle is metal, of course. This here, everything that's black is metal. Of course, that's plastic. And inside, it has a really nice hard plastic line. I guess you call it a line stopper. For when you push the button, it nips the line between this and the front cover. And looks like a tungsten pickup pin or carbide or whatever. It has no wear at all right here. Sometimes the line would dig in after a while and would wear a groove into here. This one doesn't have it. So that's pretty much why I buy older reels. I find they're made a lot better. The metal here is a lot harder, and you don't get that groove. And this reel has zero ball bearings. And this is probably the quietest spinning reel spincast reel I've ever had. I really like the handle too, sort of like a heart shaped, which is unusual, but I really like it. Has nice button, nice ergonomics. So I just have an eyedropper on here, a jig, and a Berkeley power bait honeyworms. They're really good for trout. So we're just going to have a few casts there. I just love the sound of line coming out of a spincast reel. So this reel is pretty much silent. It has no noise whatsoever. Of course, I've cleaned it. Cleaned all the old grease out, oiled up the bushings and the shafts and stuff, which you pretty much had to do. But I usually buy older reels because, I don't know, I think they're made a lot better. Nowadays, reels have, seems like an advertising gimmick. This has 8 ball bearings and this has 0. And like, I challenge, you're not going to find a reel this smooth and quiet for a spin cast. And it casts really good. I just love that sound too of when you push the button and that click. Just reminds me of being a kid. So these are really good reels. Trying to find a video on YouTube about it. There are no videos about this reel, and they're pretty rare. There's a few on eBay right now, and a couple there for like $60-$70. There's one there that's $130. I wouldn't pay that much for it, but I got a good deal on this one. And I really like using these reels. This doesn't have an oscillating spool, but very few do. I had a video a few weeks ago about a Daiwa Gold Cast that has an oscillating spool, and that's a great reel. That's probably one of the best reels. But this is a really nice reel. I really like using it. And like I said, for spin cast, usually what comes to everyone's mind is Zebco. And like the base Zebco. Zebco makes a couple nice reels. They have a Bullet and Omega, which are really nice reels. Some of the older, like the older Omega, older Bullet, and some of the old 33s are really good reels, but I'm just not a fan. I don't like the way they look. I don't like their ergonomics. I don't like the handles. And I just think there's better options out there. This reel, like the retrieve ratio on this reel, I think it's 4-to-1. I think it's like 3.6 to 3.8, which is average, I guess, for a spin cast reel. Like a lot of the Daiwas are at 4.1. And I do have recently I did buy a Zebco Roam. And that has 3 ball bearings. I put another one in it, so it has 4. So that's a really good reel too, but I don't know, I just find the modern reels are very, very cheaply made, especially spin cast. And I like these reels. I like buying a used reel that still has a lot of life in it, and just seeing how it works and getting it back together and getting it back on the water, like wondering about who owned it. Because this reel is from the early 80s, or 1981, 82, so that's when I was 40 years old. So I was wondering about who owned it, what kind of fish to catch with it, if they liked it or not. Fish aren't biting today at all. It's very cold. Black flies are just starting to get out here, and the fish aren't active at all. It's probably only like 7 or 8 degrees Celsius, so 40 something Fahrenheit. But I just wanted to come in, give it a shot, do a video. This pond here too, this is a really tough pond to walk around. This is a pond that you really need a canoe or a boat in to get the full benefit of it. And I just want to talk a minute about buying used reels on eBay. When you buy a used reel from eBay, you're always taking a chance, because you can't physically see the reel and test it out. Usually, if you buy a reel, it has the original box. That's a good sign, because that means it was probably not used much, or it was taken care of. Sometimes you'll see a reel that's been just covered in dirt and grime, and when I see something like that, I don't even look at it, because if the seller can't take 5 minutes, just rinse it off and clean it off, well, I'm not going to be bothered either. And when I look at a reel, I'll always look at the description, and I'll look at the seller's other items. And if the seller specifically sells fishing equipment, like lots of reels and rods, you can ask questions. Like that person's probably going to be a lot more knowledgeable than someone who has all comic books for sale and just has one reel for sale. The person probably doesn't know anything about it, and they just probably bought it at a yard sale and trying to flip it. So I recently bought a True Temper 420, and this reel is, God, that's from the 50s, and it's an original box. It was never used. Clean as a whistle. So I bought it. Couldn't wait to get it, and I bought it, got it home, took it out of the box, and the reel seat right here, there's a big chunk broken out of that, which I didn't see in the picture. Took off the front cover, it had a plastic spool. The plastic spool was just crushed, like really crushed out of shape. So the reel I kept what I could from it. I can use it for parts, but they're really hard to come by, and I might never find another one. So that was sort of a waste. But I've had some good luck for the most part. So we're not going to catch anything today, so I'm just going to tie back up here and head on out. So again, Shimano cb100 spincast. This is probably rated for about 6-8 pound line. I wouldn't go any higher than that. I think I'm using 4 right now, maybe 6. But these type of reels, they're really for small fish and small line. You put 12-14 pound line on that, it's not going to cast at all, especially unless you have a lot of weight. And if you're going to be catching bigger fish, well, you might as well just get a heavier duty spinning reel or a bait casting reel. Anyway, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.